All right, so now we're moving along to a research award, and this one is called the David Meyers Research Award. The award was established just this year to honor and advance the legacy of Dr. David Meyers. He's a primary care physician and leader in health policy research. Dr. Meyers' work and influence extends across many sectors within healthcare and is most notable for its interdisciplinary nature, humanism, policy relevance, and leadership in the field of primary care. This award is presented annually to the individual whose research work in the previous year best exemplifies these commitments and also Dr. Meyers' impact. Please join me in welcoming Margaret Flinter, as well as Bob Phillips of the American Board of Family Medicine, up to the stage to introduce tonight's honoree.
Well, first I want to thank the Primary Care Collaborative for creating this award in David Meyers' honor, and the PCCRT, the Primary Care Research Centers, who waded through dozens of studies to come up with this winner, who's well deserved. I just want to briefly say David Meyers was a friend to many of us in this room. He was an innovator who launched the Capital Cities Practice-Based Research Network. He was a quiet, thoughtful leader in the highest echelons of health policy, and his long-range vision really enabled HHS's smallest agency to grasp beyond its reach. We tragically lost him this year, but only after he bravely and humbly showed us what dignity in dying looks like. The Primary Care Collaborative named its new research award in David's honor, and Margaret and I have the privilege of presenting the inaugural award to a team that assiduously captured the voices of frontline primary care clinicians during the pandemic specifically, but also then taking from their messages, not just whining, not just complaining, but their carefully gleaned advice on how to better serve their patients and communities, not just their practices.
March 2020, a month I will long remember, and I suspect all of you will as well, when COVID broke nationally and everybody in healthcare had to do a major pivot. A survey series was initiated that spanned 2 years, collecting the voices and the experiences of 8,100 respondents from every corner of our nation. And so this paper doesn't just tell a story, it represents the heartbeat of primary care clinicians across the country. And the findings are sobering. Severe workforce staff shortages, financial stress, access to care challenges, the struggle to first implement and then to sustain telehealth services took a toll on our primary care clinicians. The mental exhaustion they face due to the growing patient burdens in mental health, untreated chronic diseases, and acute care delays are of concern for all of us. Importantly, the strength of this research doesn't just lie in identifying the issues, it offers a comprehensive package of policy reforms that have the potential to fortify primary care in the United States, including the expansion of population-based payment models.
The great fortune of calling Erin Sullivan up to accept the award. The Larry Green Center ran this survey with the leadership of Rebecca Etz, and Erin saw the opportunity to pull more out of this than we were sharing at the time. So Erin, thank you. Please come on up. And I want to also acknowledge your co-authors, Dr. Etz for sure, Martha Gonzalez, Sarah Reeves, Jordan Dubel, Kurt Stange, Larry Green, Asaf Beaton, who's here with us tonight, Elizabeth Griffiths, Chris Sinsky, and Mark Linzer. Please come on.
Thank you. I want to start by acknowledging how deeply humbling it is to receive this inaugural award named for Dr. David Meyers. He was a giant in this field and gave so much to primary care. I want to dedicate this award to not only the 8,000 primary care clinicians who shared their stories for our paper, but also for all the primary care clinicians who endured the pandemic and continue to practice primary care in a very challenging environment. I've read all their comments. It's tough. I also want to acknowledge and dedicate this to the clinicians who chose to leave practice during the pandemic because it was no longer sustainable for them, be it because of finances, short staffing, or just a great personal risk. The challenges were too great. I think we hope with our work to contribute to a groundswell of support for a new vision of primary care that's supportive, empowering, patient-centered, and sustainable. There is so much work to do. There's more stories to tell, and there are more papers coming from this data set. I will say our entire author team was honored to do this work, and it was a pleasure to work with every single author on this paper. A giant shout out to the Larry Green Center for having the foresight to run the survey during a pandemic and collect the data, and then hand it over to me to help tell the stories. Thank you to all the physician researchers who were on this paper. They contributed so much from their perspectives and especially some of the policy thinking. And also, I have to shout out Mark Linzer, who has become my qualitative data agent. He's found me 4 or 5 data sets and makes writing papers really fun. We really want to thank New England Journal of Medicine Catalyst for highlighting this work and spotlighting what a need there is in primary care to make things better and different. And we want to thank the Primary Care Collaborative, the American Board of Internal Medicine, and the American Board of Family Medicine for sponsoring the award. They say in research you stand on the shoulders of giants, and I certainly in my career have. So I want to personally thank a few folks, if that's okay. One is Rob Austin. He's been my mentor for over 20 years. I learned how to be a social science researcher from him and how to be a business school professor from him. I need to thank Russ Phillips and the Center for Primary Care. They were my full-time home for 7 years, and they are still my part-time home. They have not kicked me out yet, which is lovely. My current full-time home is a business school, Suffolk University's business school, and they give me protected time to work on research like this, which I think is important, which is really cool. And I also have to thank my family. My parents have supported everything I have ever done. My significant other, Matt, and my best home office companion, Sully. And I want to thank all of you who are on the front lines. My job is fun to write papers and read data and try to help and support this community. But thank you to all of you who are clinicians and practicing. This is for you. Thank you.